Egypt today has upheld death sentences against at least a dozen people for their involvement in a 2013 protest in support of the now banned Muslim Brotherhood. It's a trial that has been widely criticized, even called grotesque by Amnesty International. Natasha Fatah now joins us with the latest. We've heard about this before with the international condemnation. What's the latest?
700 people got their sentences and got their verdicts today in that mass trial that's been taking place in Egypt, John. And most of them, many of them, linked to the Muslim Brotherhood, linked to those deadly sit-ins and the breakup of those sit-ins dating back to 2013 when President Mohamed Morsi was ousted from his office. So those who were sentenced in today's mass trial were accused of security-related offenses, so things like incitement of violence, murder, and organizing illegal protests. The court confirmed the death sentences of 75 people and sent 47 others to life in prison, including very prominent members of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is now considered a terrorist organization within Egypt. So one of the key figures of that organization is Mohammed Beidi. Now, he is considered the supreme guide of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. He's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. He could appeal it, but at this stage, it doesn't look very promising for him. 215 people have been sentenced to 5 years in prison. This is critical for a world-renowned photojournalist who's been swept up in this story. He was arrested in 2013. You're seeing an image of him there, talking about Mahmoud Abu Zaid, otherwise known as Shokan. Now, he was arrested for taking photographs of the military breaking up those sit-ins, and he's been held there. Many have been critical of him being held in prison, saying that he wasn't necessarily involved in the protests themselves. He, in fact, won the UNESCO Prize for World Press Freedom. And that just happened earlier this year. So the good news is he's been sentenced to 5 years in prison, and he's already served 5 years waiting for the trial to conclude. So his lawyer has tweeted today in Arabic, believing that his client will walk out. But if you can imagine, 700 people, mass trial, heavily criticized by human rights groups around the world, saying this is not how the system is supposed to work. So we continue to watch and see how this will continue to unfold.
Yeah, we saw the president deposed and then the Muslim Brotherhood taking over as the government. So how did this trial then come to be where we are today?
So if people can go back to the summer of 2013, Mohamed Morsi is kicked out of office. People start protesting. There were two key squares where people were protesting, hundreds and hundreds of people spending days in the streets, and then the military crackdown. And you see that there, hundreds of people were slaughtered. This was described as one of the most brutal massacres in recent history. So hundreds were killed and hundreds more were arrested. And as we know today, hundreds got their verdicts as well. All of this took place. Then the military head, now the president Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, took power. And it's important to note, as the trial has now concluded, that just earlier this year, Egypt's parliament gave immunity to all of the military officers that were involved in the violence, not only in the summer of 2013, but any acts that they carried out between then and July of 2016. So a lot of immunity for a lot of people that carried out quite a bit of violence.